All right, every transfer window, right, we get absolutely bombarded with headlines. Multi-million-dollar deals, crazy surprise moves, brand new rising stars. But what is really going on behind the scenes? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and really dig into the strategies and the very human stories that drive the global soccer transfer market.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to start with a pretty dramatic turnaround story, then look at how clubs make these long-term bets on young players. We'll break down the strategic loan system, talk about moves made just to revive a career, and then we'll put it all together to see how this whole transfer machine actually works. So let's kick things off with a story that, honestly, it just perfectly captures the incredible twists and turns a player's career can take. We're talking about a guy going from a brutal relegation battle in one country to a full-blown title race in another, all in just a matter of weeks.
I mean, for German international Niclas Fullkrug, the contrast here is just wild. At West Ham, he was in the thick of it, a tough fight just to stay in England's top league. And then boom, with one single move to AC Milan, he's thrown right into a super high-stakes title race in Italy, nipping at the heels of their biggest rivals, Inter.
And look, this isn't a player who came out of nowhere. Just last season, he was playing in a Champions League final with Borussia Dortmund. But for whatever reason, it just wasn't clicking for him at West Ham. And, well, 3 goals in 26 games kind of tells you everything you need to know.
So this move, it's a lifeline. For AC Milan, it's a chance to bring in an experienced striker to help with their title push. And for the 32-year-old Fullkrug, it's a golden ticket, a chance to swap that relegation scrap for a legitimate shot at a championship. It's a textbook example of a transfer made for immediate, high-impact results.
Okay, but let's shift gears a bit, because not every transfer is about that quick fix for the current season. You know, some of the most interesting moves are these calculated bets on talent that, well, they might not pay off for years and years.
And this brings up a really common question, one I'm sure you've probably asked yourself. You see your club linked with some 17-year-old kid you've never even heard of, and you're thinking, wait, what's the plan here? Why are we spending money on someone who isn't even close to ready for the big time? Well, the answer is that the really elite clubs, your Liverpools and your Barcelonas, they're always thinking 2, 3, maybe even 5 years down the road. They spot this top-tier young talent like defender Ifeanyi Ndukwe and goalkeeper 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, not for what they can do today, but to build the very foundation of their future success.
And check this out. This confirmation from transfer guru Fabrizio Romano about the Ndukwe deal, it's so revealing. Just look at the date, 2026/2027. Liverpool is locking him down now, way in advance. When you realize a key defender like Virgil van Dijk is now 34, it all clicks. This is long-term succession planning in real time.
All right, let's dive into one of the most common mechanisms in the transfer market, but one that I think is often misunderstood, the loan deal. This is so much more than just a way to park a player somewhere for a little while. It's a really powerful strategic tool.
You know, on the surface, the idea is super simple, but the reasons behind a loan, they can be incredibly different. It could be for a young player to get valuable experience, for an established player to just get more minutes, or even to get a player's salary off the books for a bit. It helps the parent club, the loan club, and the player.
So, the ideal loan journey, it pretty much looks like this. The 21-year-old Japanese defender 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Takai is a perfect example. He signs for a huge club like Tottenham, but to really keep getting better, he needs to play week in, week out. So a loan to a strong Bundesliga team like Mönchengladbach gives him that critical experience. The goal? To return to Spurs a more complete, ready-to-go player.
But yeah, it doesn't always work out that perfectly. Take Valentin Carboni. The entire point of his loan to Genoa from Inter Milan was for him to play. And when that isn't happening, the loan just loses its purpose. So now his parent club, Inter, is trying to cut that deal short and find him a new place where he can actually get on the field and get his career back on track. And actually, that leads us perfectly to our next big idea. For a lot of players, a transfer isn't just a simple career move, it's an absolute necessity. It's about finding the right coach, the right system, or just the right environment to get back on track, or to finally hit that potential everyone knows they have.
Let's take a look at Italian striker Giacomo Raspadori. A move away from Atletico Madrid is definitely happening. And right now, he's the one holding all the cards. He's got multiple top clubs lining up for him, each offering a slightly different kind of deal. Sometime in the next few days, he's going to weigh all his options and decide which club gives him the absolute best platform to reignite his career.
And it's the same story for really promising academy kids. Someone like Sam Mather, he's come all the way up through the Manchester United system. But let's be real, the path to that first team is incredibly crowded. So So recognizing this, he's taking control of his own future and pushing for a move to a club where he can get the senior level minutes he needs to really grow.
But even as he's heading out the door, the club is still playing chess. Manchester United knows they have a talented player on their hands. So if they do sell him, they'll almost certainly bake in clauses that let them buy him back later, or at the very least get a slice of his next transfer fee. They are protecting their investment long term.
Okay, so we've looked at all these individual stories, right? Driven by all these different needs. Immediate impact, planning for the future, player development, personal ambition. But what happens when we zoom out and look at the entire transfer market as one big, interconnected machine?
What you're seeing here is really the balance of all those forces we've been talking about. A huge chunk of transfers are driven by a club's immediate need to win right now. That's the Fullkrug to Milan deal. But look, just as important are those long-term strategies, like signing a kid like Ndukwe, and the absolutely essential development you get from loans. And bubbling underneath all of it, the player's own ambition.
So the big takeaway here is this. The transfer market is so much more than just names and numbers flashing across a screen. It's this dynamic, totally fascinating ecosystem of club strategy, financial planning, and just deeply human stories. So the next time you see that breaking news transfer banner pop up, maybe you'll ask yourself, okay, but what's the real story here?